Hey guys, Chris here with Little Chris Music. All right, we're going to talk about shapes. This kind of, I'm kind of hoping that you've already seen my E shapes video, which meant we talked about these four shapes a lot, which is the major, the seven, the minor, and the minor seven. If you haven't, I really suggest go there and check it out and review it, and then come on back to this video. But if you don't want to, you just want to see this video, that's fine as well. We're going to basically talk about the A shapes. We have a major, we have a 7, we have a minor, and a minor 7. Okay? So again, let's kind of reestablish some things. We got the 1 finger, the 2 finger, the 3, and the 4 finger. Okay? 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can play an A this way, which is your first finger on D string, 2nd fret, middle finger on G string, 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger on the B string, 2nd fret, and play from the A string down. Okay? It's important that you do that. Make sure all those notes are there. A couple of things for the beginners on guitar. When you're looking at chords, there's a couple of things that are happening. Okay? Number one, you see this little X right here? I'm up here looking at this A shape. You see that little X right there? The X means don't play it. Okay? Which means since we're on the A family, we're going to basically be using the A strings on all of these shapes. So again, don't play the X, and definitely play the zeros, and use your fingers to cover the chord shapes. Remember, finger 1, 2, 3, and 4, that's what these numbers mean. These numbers are suggestions as to what fingers you should use to play these shapes or these chords. Something I feel as though is very important is this. You're going to hear the words chords and shapes used interchangeably. Okay? So they're the same thing, basically. All right, for an A chord, we're going to go fingers 1, 2, and 3. Okay? If your fingers are too big for that, or if you have a smaller guitar with a smaller neck, you can change it up a little bit. Another suggestion is 2, 1, and 3, which is basically that. 2 on the D string, 2nd fret, 1 on the G string, 1st fret, and then 3 on the B string, 2nd fret. I'm sorry, I might have said that wrong. Middle finger, 2nd string, D string, 2nd fret, 1st finger, G string, 2nd fret, and then the 3rd finger, B string, 2nd fret. We have a major. One of the reasons why I like 2, 1, and then 3 is because of this. I like to take the road less traveled. If I'm on an A and I want to go to A7, the only thing I got to do is get rid of my 1st finger. Okay? Pretty easy, pretty cool way of playing it. And then we have a minor. The minor, the A minor, looks a lot like an E. But since we have that B string in there, that 3rd away, it makes it a minor. Okay, so that's a minor. And then the big difference between a minor and a minor 7 is you take off your 3rd finger. Okay, so major, you can play it a couple of ways. A 7, you can play that a couple of ways as well. Minor, pretty much only 2 ways to play this one. And then you have a minor 7. Basically the same thing, 2 ways to play this one. All right? The thing I really want to talk about now, which is what I already talked about in the E shapes video, is this white dot right here. Okay? This white dot right here is telling you basically the name of the root this shape is in. So for instance, this is a major chord. It's a major chord because of the way the shape works here. The thing you want to know is that this is an A only because this root is on the A string. Okay? That's an A. All of the roots, all of the lowest notes in the chord are A, therefore these are an A something. So that's one half the conversation. The other half of the conversation is that this shape is going to be major, 7, minor, and minor 7. I talked about this in the E shapes video, and I'll tell you here, just in case you haven't seen this. Here's a question for you, and I get all kinds of answers for this. If this is a major 7, minor, minor 7, the thing that I want you to really take home is that these dots are where they should be on purpose. If you change up any of these dots at all, it's just no longer that shape. Okay? I'll give you a little bit of a visual. This is a square. All right? This is a square. So if I change this up even the tiniest bit, let me just take a little bit off of that right there. Is this still a square? Well, basically, but no, it's not. Because in one small little change, it's just no longer the same shape. Okay? So know that these are the shapes. You have to you have to maintain the distance between the notes. Okay? Now, here's the fun part. Here's another way of playing the A shape, the major shape. Okay? We talked about 2, 1, 3. We talked about 1, 2, and 3. Now let's just use our first finger. Now, there are some guitar players out there who can bend their finger enough and get that high E still, but typically, if they play the A like this, they're not going to hit that, they're not going to ring out the high E string. So however you play, it's fine, okay? Now, what I love about playing with this chord this way is that I've now got 3 fingers I can do to mess around and play something else, make the chord brighter. Do a little, a little bit of a bend with my 3rd finger, whatever it may be. Long story short, I'm kind of skirting off the trail here. I'm going to play this major shape using 1 finger. Okay? So, again, like I've already talked about, the shape here is this string and these 3 notes right here. Okay? So let's change it up a little bit. Let's use our 3rd finger and cover up that A shape. I want you to take a second, okay? I don't want to go too fast here. Look at the way the shape is right there. Look what finger I'm using. Everything's covered. I got my A string and the 3 black dots right there. I got my A string and the 3 black dots right there. It's the same exact shape. I'm using my 3rd finger so that I could bring my 1st finger over here and cover the root. So if you look over at my hand, there's my root, and then there's my 3rd finger covering the black dots, and there's the black dots right there. Okay? Simple. Now, something super important. Notice that I'm up here on the chord shapes again. Notice that if I'm on A, it's 2 frets away before I use my 3rd finger. Okay? Now, there are alternatives on how you can hold this chord down, but for now we're just going to use fingers 1 and 3. Okay, now let's talk about roots. The roots are on fire. All right, so A. Okay, now I am playing off of the A string, which means in this situation right here, I'm starting on the A string. That A is my open string. String 0, if you will. Okay? If I go to the 1st fret, it's A sharp. So I'm going to go from here, A to A sharp. Please note, I'm not trying to get you to play an A chord this way. You can if you'd like, but it's better to use your 1st finger or the 2 and 1, 3, or the 1, 2, and 3 like we've already talked about. But we're talking about bar chords. If I take this A shape and I bring it up a fret, now it's an A sharp. A B, a C sharp, a D sharp, an E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Okay? So that's it. Knowing where the notes are on the neck of the guitar is going to be super important. I've already discussed this in another video, so I'll give you a brief little recap. Remember that every single note has a sharp or a flat in the middle of it, except for 2 places, the E and the F, and the B and the C. All right? If you can memorize that, you can memorize everything else. And remember also, when I go to G sharp, the next note, it's not an H. You'd be surprised how many people say that back to me. It's not an H. You just go from G sharp, you go all the way back to A. Okay? There's my A. So, I'm doing a bar chord. I'm doing a power chord. I'm going to go up one, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. Okay? That's it. I will say this. This power chord, which you can also find in an E shape, this power chord can be used on the A shape and the E shape. I would even venture to say that a power chord can probably cover about 95% of Western rock and roll music. All right? From this A shape, you can add your pinky. And you play it on the E string. You can even play it on the D string, but you can only use 2 notes if you wanted to. All right? And a lot of your favorite music has got, if you're into rock and roll, a lot of your favorite music uses this power chord. Or your dad's favorite music. Okay, a lot of rock and roll is used with the power chords. But we're moving on. We've talked about the A shapes moved up and down the neck of the guitar. Let's talk about the A7 shape, right? Same thing. There's my 7. I'm going to use fingers 4 and 3 for the 7, and then I'm going to use my first finger, and I'm going to flatten it across the A, D, G, B, and E. And there's my A7. But what happens if I move it to the 3rd fret? Well, A sharp, B, C. A C7. X plus the shape equals the name of the chord. A C7. Let's go up to 2 more frets. C, do it with me. C, C sharp, 7, D7. Okay? 7th fret, what is it? On the A string, 7th fret. Okay, well let's talk about what we know so far. I'm still using the same 7 shape. Okay, but I'm on the 7th fret. So let's look down here. If I'm on the A string, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. E7. Okay? Easy peasy. Cool. Now, let's talk about the minor shapes, okay? Here we are with the minor shapes, fingers 1, 2, and 3. Let's use fingers 2, 3, and 4. It's a minor shape. We know the shape name, so we're good there. What's the X? Well, right now it's A. But what happens if we go to the 3rd fret? Right there. There's my C right there. C, minor. D, minor. B, minor. E minor. And then naturally, if you wanted to, take off your pinky, then you have yourself a minor 7. Or a D minor 7. Or a C minor 7. Okay? That's it. Enjoy.